I have certainly served in different places in the world and all kinds of jobs, but one thing I didn't learn was to save my farewell speeches. Inevitably, I worked till the last day and left the next day. So it never happened. I tended to slip away, and I really don't know. This part is not a very comfortable experience. So if I'm a little disjointed, I'm sure you will forgive me. I would also say that this was initiated entirely by Manish, so he put it in my head that you are leaving. I around 1 hour back, before I set out from my hotel to this place, there was another line of thinking in my mind. I said, I don't think the consulate will do a great job. It's probably it'll be a little limited in the way that they will understand my Australia Connect. So I'm not a very tech savvy person, so using my iPhone, I fiddled around a little. I was late by about a few minutes to reach this venue, and Manish was sweating, but I put 3-4 more pictures. So I hope you will get a sense of my Australia Connect. So this has already been seen. This is how conventionally it's understood. My Australia connection begins. The clock started ticking with Governor General Hurley. I was presented my credentials, and this is how it started, as the world understands. But it began at school. It all began. This is my school. This is in a remote part of India, very remote part, and it's a very impressive building. But I think as products we were not so well known or world famous. So it was a very big moment to come all the way from this place, a rather remote place of India. Even today it will take quite a while to get there, and from there all the way to Sydney and this place. And look at this. These are the Australian pioneers who set up the school. Some of them have taught me, and no, go back. Yeah, this is yes, 1951. There were some wonderful missionaries, very, very committed missionaries in the 50s. Even today, reaching that place is impossible. How and why they went there, I still don't know. They cut their way through the forest, and their only mission was to spread education and literacy. They worked among the tribals and disadvantaged, and this was the core group. And and then they went about setting up some schools, and ours probably was one of the more well-known schools. Some of them were really very dear to me from childhood. I know that. Somewhere in this picture is embedded one gentleman. I don't know if my wife can recognize. So this is how in 1975 we left the school. So this is really the Australian Connect, which people may not immediately relate to. So it was a great thing for me from my school that their boy has come all the way to this place. Well, that's the slide part, and it's been, again, Manish has, it forced me today to think about my career, which was very unusual, and sometimes not sure whether it's worth even emulating. One thing I learned about diplomacy is, all that complex kind of language, jargon, and everything that we talk about, it's actually very simple, maybe one sentence: making friends, nothing else. And wherever you go, it's just about seeing the positive side of life, and to make good friends, and you come back with happy feelings. You leave behind happy feelings, you come back with happy feelings. There's nothing more in diplomacy. I know this was also mentioned as I stepped in, that there were others who aspired to join diplomatic career. So one would judge your own career on this little basis, this test, that how good you have been at cultivating or making friends, and with really very good, honest intentions, credible, and you earn respect and you give respect. So that's the general line I followed. The other part was why I say that I'm sometimes hesitant to speak about my own career, as a kind of model for an aspiring diplomat who wants to make friends all over. Because wherever I went, there was something, I don't know, again, if you know, that we were in USSR from 87 to 92. My wife was sitting here, and that country disappeared. In November 1989, in Moscow, I was in Moscow, and I had a brand new Corolla, Toyota Corolla. In those days in Soviet space, to see a Japanese car was very unusual. And I just out of nothing, we didn't have internet, no news, and we only read the Pravda newspaper, which really didn't have much. In 1989 November, I drove to Berlin, and the wall collapsed. And the next time, I think we were in we were in Hong Kong in '98 and joined China. So we were also other places more unfortunate. And 26/11, when the terror strike took place in Mumbai, my office was the closest, almost handshaking distance to Taj Hotel. Still, it's at Gateway. You'll always miss. It's the oldest structure at Gateway of India. My office, the office I worked for. And those were not just kind of incidents, the series of incidents, but sounds and experiences, the firing of guns, the bombs exploding. So you come back with all kinds of thoughts that this is the career path. Where next? What else? So, but in the end, were you happy that were you richer with that experience? I think I would tend to say that it was an amazing experience, and it was an amazing experience to contribute in some way to an understanding of some of these historical events, and you were part of it in some way. You were close by in other ways. But another aspect was there was a great difference, in the way that we performed. When I joined in the 80s, the Foreign Service, you had the Indian flag behind you, but while we talk and the flag is behind, that flag is rising higher and higher. See, you're where you are, but the flag is going higher. So that kind of, shadow which is cast on you by your flag, you represent your country, and India's own stature has gone up tremendously. And when you walk into rooms in some of these countries, including certain hostile settings, I should say that it was quite an extraordinary experience. I even worked in Pakistan, that, so that to go there and trying to make friends, to be friends, and also you represent India, and ultimately you try to leave very good feelings. And today India speaks for itself. Our advances, and in various ways we are a developing country. But also to see that we are among the top countries, whether it's Bollywood or cricket or pharmaceuticals, vaccines, anything you name it, that we actually, in many ways, we figure on the top, so that's something which affects our work in a positive way. I think there's only one thing left. Will you remind me on something? Well, I had given a little, task to Honorable Consul General's wife that in case I forgot, please remind me to talk about my wife. I think she failed, but you were good, yeah. So in all this, just if I were to say that we got married in 1987. Sometimes I never gave her a gift on any anniversary or not even flowers. I used to say we were married, through several lives. So what is special about a wedding anniversary? So that got me, some, some relief at points of time. But when we did meet for the first time, and it was decision time, I do remember that we met, and then I think she liked me, and with a little, well, I too, and a little persuasion from parents also, that setting was there. Then the next day I told my dad, I think I need to meet her once again. And then my dad said, in the Indian tradition, you don't meet second time. You have to take a call now. But I said, and no, it won't do once more. And so it was set up, and we had a tea together. Then we left the parents, and then we walked. Then I told everything about me. Things which Manish would tell, that I smoke, I drink. Now I don't. So I'm very clean in those ways. So I did mention, and then I said about the service that, believe me, this is not a kind of job that you might have anticipated. That it's a life of very tough kind of environments, and it's not necessary you'll go to the most comfortable places. You'll have to do all kinds of things, and you'll have to wash cars and do other kinds of things. Then don't think of US. We'll be working in all kinds of places. Our lives may be threatened. Other things may happen. Then she said, "Do you want to get married, or you just are you encouraging or discouraging?" So that's how it began. So I really think that the way our spouses in our lives, they make all that difference, and we sometimes take it for granted. Whichever gender, I don't say, but there is a very, very important dimension in our lives when they give us that silent support. They take that pressure. Sometimes you are under various kinds of stress situations, so you have no one to really talk to, and you won't even talk to her, or your spouse, but they sense it. So whatever I am, I thank her. And then I thank each one of you that psychologically it's very difficult for a foreign service colleague. We have some Australian colleagues also here. That every time you feel you're leaving someone, but instead of that, I look at the globe. I say I have friends there. I have friends. Instead of saying I've left someone, I feel I have a friend there. So in that sense, Australia is one country. I'll definitely look at a map. Normally, you don't look southwards, towards Oceania. You look to the west or north, But I promise you that this will always leave me with a very nice set of thoughts, and I've already proven it that I began very early with Australia. So I think it will be with Australia for life. Thank you.
Fiji Times. Be with the times.